There is a quiet difference between people. You can't see it. You can't touch it. But it decides everything. Two people can wake up in the same city, same opportunities, same internet, same 24 hours. And 10 years later, one is living their dream. The other is still explaining why it didn't happen. So what changed? It wasn't luck. It wasn't talent. It was thinking. Because winners don't just work differently. They think differently. And once your thinking changes, your entire life starts moving in another direction. But here's the part nobody tells you. The difference begins with a question. Most people wake up and ask, what do I feel like doing today? Winners ask something else. What needs to be done even if I don't feel like it? That single shift changes everything. Because feelings are temporary, but decisions shape your future. And winners don't negotiate with their feelings. They negotiate with their goals. But this is only the beginning, because the second difference is even more brutal. Most people see failure as proof they should stop. Winners see failure as data. Imagine two people starting a business. The first one fails once and says, maybe this isn't for me. The second one fails and asks, what did this teach me? Same event, different interpretation. And interpretation creates destiny. To the average person, failure feels personal, embarrassing, painful, like the world is saying, you're not good enough. But winners hear something different. They hear feedback. They see a mistake the same way a scientist sees a failed experiment, not as humiliation, but as information. And once you see life like that, nothing is wasted anymore. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every loss becomes a blueprint. And every problem becomes a training ground. But there's another mindset shift most people never develop. Winners don't chase motivation. They build systems. Because motivation is emotional. It appears when you feel inspired and disappears when life gets hard. But systems don't care about feelings. They just run. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up every morning waiting to feel motivated. You just do it, automatically. Winners build their discipline the same way. They turn success into a routine. Wake up, work, improve, repeat. Not because it feels exciting, but because it's who they decided to become. And that leads to the most uncomfortable truth of all. Winners are brutally honest with themselves. Not emotional, not dramatic, just honest. Most people protect their ego. They blame circumstances, bad luck, other people, the economy, their childhood. But winners ask a painful question. What part of this problem is my responsibility? Because responsibility gives you power. If everything is someone else's fault, then your life is out of your control. But the moment you say, this is on me, something powerful happens. You gain the ability to fix it. And winners want power more than comfort. That's why they think long term. While most people chase pleasure, winners chase progress. Short-term pleasure says, scroll for another hour. Long-term thinking says, build the life you'll be proud of in 10 years. Short-term pleasure says, skip the workout. Long-term thinking says, become the person who never quits. Every moment becomes a choice between comfort and growth. And winners choose growth more often than comfort. Not because they're special, not because they're born different, but because they made a decision. A decision to stop negotiating with mediocrity. A decision to stop explaining their potential and start executing it. And here's the final truth. The moment you change how you think, the world around you starts to change too. You see opportunities others ignore. You notice patterns others miss. You start building instead of waiting. Because winners don't wait for perfect conditions. They create momentum. One disciplined action at a time. One focused day at a time. One decision at a time. Until one day, people call them lucky. But you'll know the truth. Luck didn't change their life. Their thinking did. So the real question isn't whether you can win. The real question is, are you ready to think like someone who does? Because the moment you change your mind, you begin to change your future. And that is where every winner begins.
For the more real truth, press the subscribe button